Piccolo, are you alright? Granolah was initially stunned. According to my readings, he's almost the same as he was, just much stronger. Oatmeal did some quick calculations regarding the Super Namekian.
Yeah, it's still me.
Big Green tried to come to terms with what had changed amongst his overall physiology. On one hand, it might have been a lot, but on the other, it might not have been as much as he'd expected. Okay, so what are we going to do now? Cerulean looked at his newly fused comrade, trying to figure out what would be the next move.
Well, we have to hunt the cell creature. From what he told us, he'll be looking for the androids.
They had no time to spare then. They had to find this monstrosity. Obviously, between him and the other threats, it was inevitable that they might run into each other. And if it happened, well, you see, my friend, the problem would have been even bigger. They let everyone know at the lookout all about the danger. They then left for the hunt. Obviously, the androids were probably busy looking for the likes of Goku, not knowing that he and Gohan were currently training in the middle of the time chamber. It took many hours, almost an entire day, for them to locate Dr. Giroux's creations, but they finally managed to locate them. They were, of course, searching for Goku around, as you might expect, Kame House. So, Goku hides from us and sends a welcoming committee instead. I gotta give it to you. You two look like some sort of crazy cosplayers. 17 then proceeded to giggle.
Goku's outside of your reach, androids. And there are different things you should be worried about right now,
said Piccolo menacingly. Someone is hunting you, added Granolah with a very serious and gravitas tone. Oh, are you planning to add, and that someone is me? Ha! Because that would sound a little cliche, don't you think? There is another android out there, aren't you listening? And if you're not careful, you'll be his next lunch. Granolah was gritting his teeth with frustration. You heard that, sis? Green hair over here has a weird sense of humor, hasn't he? They were just busy laughing about it. More like teal hair. 18 tilted her head.
Don't say that we didn't warn you.
Piccolo prepared to take a punch when he noticed that the black-haired android was readying himself to charge and strike instead of doing the sensible thing and running away. To his utmost surprise, though, the Namekian blocked him with relative ease. Excuse me, how did you...
I solved some family drama. That's all you need to know. And it did wonders,
said Piccolo very satisfyingly, spin-kicking 17 away. We're giving you a chance to join forces. We don't know how much stronger this thing will be. Granolah had to dodge a blast from 18, clearly not getting through to her. It was becoming obvious that neither of them were believing them or were going to believe them. Well, it looked like that Piccolo would have to just simply beat some sense into them to get them to comply, because if they didn't, things would get an awful lot worse. Nah, sis, don't get involved. I can deal with Big Green over here. But he's got a sidekick though. I'll also blast him if it gets involved. Piccolo turned his head toward Granolah.
I got this. Don't get into a fight with the girl. We might need your full power for later.
The Cerulean nodded. Though he didn't like the sound of this plan, he really wanted to help. The duel between Piccolo and 17 seemingly began pretty equally. The Namekian was stronger, but Granolah realized that this blasted cyber teen could simply not get tired. He effectively had infinite stamina. This could be a problem in the long run. You think you can beat him there, buddy? Oatmeal analyzed their vitals. Piccolo's not used to these level of powers. His readings are kinda crazy right now. I dunno, but I can see the android guy starting to respect him. Maybe he might actually listen to us. Wait, Granolah! I just had a reading. Suddenly, Oatmeal made his friend realize that someone was sneaking towards 18, ready to get the jump on her. Both she and 16 were busy watching the fight. But before the tail could strike, Granolah took a shot at it. It did way less damage than the Cerulean had hoped for, but the strike was enough to make everyone turn around and become aware of Cell's presence. What the hell are you? 18 turned around only to see Cell's ugly mug.
Granolah, you're no fun. Hello, my siblings. I hate to have been introduced in such circumstances, but I am oh so happy to see you. Bring it in!
We were trying to tell you, this guy wants to absorb you! Granolah screamed in anger. 17 turned around and charged at Cell.
No, stop, you fool!
Piccolo yelled. Leave my sister alone, you ugly butt! One strong attack from Cell got him off balance. The monster was readying himself to absorb the boy there and then. But 16 caught him by the tail and threw him away. Piccolo, he's stronger! Granolah looked at the Namekian.
I know!
He sent some blast in the direction where Cell landed. Okay, so let's say we believe you now. How about a truce then, yeah? 17 looked at Granolah and Piccolo with a slight sense of panic. Keep your distance. If he absorbs you, he'll get much stronger.
This green-haired mook's starting to annoy me.
Cell cursed. You're spoiling my fun! With their forces now combined, the 5 warriors started to surround the Bugman, who now had to weigh in on his chances. Things had changed drastically. On one hand, he was outnumbered, but on the other hand, if he played his cards right, he could absorb at least one of the 2 androids, giving him a victory in the long run. Once he'd sucked one android, all of them would pale in comparison to his potential power. But the problem was though, 16, who was just the same power level as him right now, and Piccolo, who was almost as strong. But Cell had speed to his advantage. Granolah took a lock on his target and attacked him in order to slow him down. When the monster attempted to attack either 17 or 18, Piccolo and 16 were in the way. He had to change his tactics. He started off with a solar flare to blind everyone into submission, but what he did not account for was that Oatmeal's optics was slightly better than 16's, and he was able to guide the blinded Granolah towards Cell, negating the solar flare. A few blasts made the Bugman's body a little bit limp and slightly compromised.
Alright, that's enough! You're going to die now!
The monster charged at Granolah and started to hit him with full force. Despite his sniping prowess, he was, Granolah, still the weakest of all the fighters present. Cell then grabbed him by the neck and prepared to snap it with his tail. But 16 saved him because his optical systems had managed to reset quicker than everyone else. As he tore off the tail of Cell, the creature let out a loud shriek. Thank you, android, but I think he can reject. Cell knew that he was outmatched at this point. He could not get what he wanted at this time. He was just able to muster up another solar flare. It would be better to fight another day. Yes, run away and strike from the shadows, like he had done before. Clearly, jumping out into the open was not going to work. So what if they're working together right now? This stupid truce wouldn't last forever, he thought. This time, he pumped serious power into the flare, even giving the likes of Oatmeal hard time to try and keep up. And right about now, he had to leave, because someone else appeared.
Oh no,
Cell muttered. Son Goku was there, smiling.
So, you're the Cell monster, huh? Yes. Hello, Son Goku. Surely you don't want to fight me like this. Listen, if I get my perfect form, I'll be a fitting challenge for you. If you just let me, well...
The Saiyan's face got a little bit more serious.
I heard what you did with the people of Gingertown, and apparently you're even stronger now. So, I'm sorry, but I can't let you go. No, no, no. It will not end like this!
Cell decided to give a wild chase, but Granolah recovered in time and managed to shoot a paralyzing blast at him. If he couldn't find a vital area, he would just simply have to overload his nervous system altogether. The rest regained their eyesight to witness the Kamehameha washing over the monster and evaporating him. Imperfect Cell was no more. And then there was a moment of silence. 16 had a tense face when he looked at Goku, but he recognized that somehow the Saiyan had gotten stronger than his readings had given him. It wasn't even a day. Piccolo raised his eyebrow.
Well, we didn't need it. Yeah, I still had some hours remaining, but Vegeta and Trunks wanted to go in, but that might not be necessary after all. Depending on what we'll do here, androids,
I know you're not really evil. Goku started his usual speech of going, you're not all that evil, you know. And the tension eased slightly. In fact, he started talking about how he would love to fight each and every one of them, and how they do not need to follow Jiro's instructions anymore. 16 though was distrustful, but this time 17 and 18 were in a more peaceful mood. They saw Granolah and Piccolo's attempts to aid them, even if Cell was also their problem. So, does this mean we're like, free? 17 was scratching his head. We still have bombs in our chests, said 18.
Well, I'm pretty sure we can fix that with the Dragon Balls. I wonder if we can make you entirely human again.
We don't have Dragon Balls anymore, Goku. I fused with Kami.
Well, we'll just have to go on a trip to Namek then.
The Saiyan smiled.
Meanwhile, maybe Bulma or Dr. Briefs will be able to help you.
They looked at each other. On one hand, it was still too early to put so much trust in their former enemies. But on the other, what else do they have left to do? It was clear that Goku was stronger than any of them right now, and at this point, the only thing that was keeping them alive was the fact that Goku was feeling generous. So together, they traveled to Capsule Corp. It's a good thing that Trunks doesn't see this, huh? It'll be as hard for him as it was with you and the Saiyans. Yes, Trunks was still in the chamber, and he took the Saiyan armor, which then meant, oh no. Granolah right there and then decided to fly to the lookout with everyone busy with the android's visit to Capsule Corp. There was only Mr. Popo there, and he seemed distracted. He found the place where Trunks had stashed his clothes and sword. Granolah, we really shouldn't be doing this. Trunks will understand, if anyone will. But you're not going to be able to change your past. You'll just create a whole other one. It doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that there is a future out there where my people still exist. Granolah, Trunks is our friend. This is stealing. You'll take away his way back home. This is my only chance. Granolah, please calm down. This isn't like you. He finally found the capsule, and as he grabbed it, he felt his goggles detach from his face. Oatmeal tried to grab it, but the Cerulean wrestled it away.
Granolah, is everything all right?
The genie asked with concern. Yeah, I was just, looking for the bathroom. Mr. Popo, you have to put some reason to him, me. Oatmeal tried to stop but could not continue because Granolah had panicked and pressed the mute button on his goggles. So, after all these years, his best friend had decided to betray him, rat him out. The Cerulean angrily grabbed the robot and tossed it away, then left the lookout. He didn't even look back to see if he'd done any damage to his partner or not. He was just that mad. And now, he was alone. He threw the capsule on the ground and hastily entered the time machine. He remembered what Yamcha had told him about the specific dates and the time on Earth. He will come back. He will give it back. But he just had to do this. Trunks would understand. Oatmeal. Yeah, Oatmeal will as well. He hoped that he hadn't damaged him too much now that the red mist had subsided. He tried not to think about it and set the date to 30 years into the past. As the machine started making noises, he saw some silhouettes approaching. It might have been Goku, Piccolo, and Krillin, but he had no time to see who it was. He was immediately sent back into the past. He was breathing heavily. He had made it. The issue was that he was still on Earth. He really needed a ship. But where would he get one? Earth was as primitive as it got. But there was one man who could help him. He decided to travel to Capsule Corp, and surely the building was already there. And when he knocked on the door, a blue-haired young girl opened it. It took him a while to realize who she was. Yes? She blushed, very nervous. I'm looking for one Dr. Briefs.
Oh, yeah. Papa's in the garden. I'll call him.
He noticed the teenager was giving him a good long look. This was uncomfortable. And surely enough, the doctor was there. He had hardly changed. And Granolah didn't have many interactions with him over the time he spent on Earth in the present, but he knew that this person was quite brilliant. Not wanting to get into the details about time travel, he only revealed to him that he was an alien trying to save his homeworld from certain destruction, and that Dr. Briefs was the only man who could help. The scientist responded that he always wanted to do something like building a spaceship. It was one of his dreams. But he doubted that any of his prototypes would do the job. Luckily though, Granolah had some very valuable mechanical skills that could allow him to explain some finer details to the man. It would have been easier with oatmeal around, granted, but in this situation, he probably wouldn't have complied. But this was his mission, his responsibility, and he had to see it through. Briefs was, of course, very happy to work on this project, and Granolah tried not to rush him, despite having a quite tight schedule of time. In the worst case scenario, he could just take the schematics and go back in time again, right? But it took them a couple of months, with the Cerulean being painfully aware that the young Bulma was slowly developing feelings towards him, something that he would never mention to Trunks as long as they both should live, if he got back to the original timeline. And the ship, well, it was nothing special, but it would do the job in taking him to planet Cereal before the Saiyan invasion. But still, it might be a one-way trip, as some of the materials he required weren't freely available on Earth. They were still rare materials. He was grateful to Briefs and his daughter, who also helped with the whole thing. They were a brilliant team, and when they finished, he did feel a bit of guilt, remembering that Trunks was also a part of this clan, and that he had stolen from him. Nevertheless, this was all for a good cause, he thought. And besides, he could return it right away. No harm would be done, only he was preventing something. He allowed the doctor to keep the schematics. After all, this timeline's Earth could get more advanced because of this. What was the harm in that, right? He bid farewell to Briefs and his family. His mission to save Cereal was in full swing. Hopefully, he will be able to get there before the Saiyans attack. And if not, well, if he uses the time machine there, he might get as much time as he needs. Finally, he would be able to right all the wrongs that had happened to him. But deep inside, this was all starting to feel wrong. He quickly expelled those thoughts from his mind. The mission was the most important thing in his life right now. He couldn't fail. And that's where we're going to be leaving things right now.